I think when you look at the topic of creativity, there'll be a certain amount of people that say, yeah, I get that. I can do that. I am creative. But then there's going to be maybe another group of people, and probably larger group of people, that sort of shrivel back in their seats and would say, I'm not creative. I think what happens is we look at creativity as being an outward function. So creativity is not so much about being an artist or a musician. Rather, it's the ability to listen to a spark or an idea that's arising in us, to listen to the direction that flows out of us. So we start with understanding that we're all creative. Creativity is a vast subject that covers just about everything in life. Every movement and choice and thing that we do in life is a mode or a form of creation. And so that's sort of step one, giving people the idea that we're not, there's only a chosen few that do this, that we're all doing it already in our lives. One of the biggest barriers that prevents us from tapping into this innate creativity that rests within all of us is my mind. My mind was the biggest barrier. And that's when I look at the obstacle of the mind in creation, it's one of the biggest barriers. So within the confines of the mind, we make up limitations and we live to those standards. When I'm creating, writing, speaking, tattooing, I'm in the dark. I'm always in the dark, and I'm watching the movement of creation come out of me. And it's that surrender. So I think that's another giant part of moving creation in the world is learning how to surrender everything. And, the more we surrender, we become a more viable host for creation to move through. If we're truly in that mode of creation, we're allowing it to choose us, rather we choose it. In that surrender, we learn how to trust, and that the guidance that comes out of that creativity or out of the soul is like flawless. It comes to us in divine time with cosmic accuracy, and it knows more than we do. And so that's another thing that I feel about creation that comes to us and chooses us to move through, is that it has its own intelligence built in. Yet another reason to learn how to surrender. And once we do learn how to surrender, we trust that everything is in perfect alignment to move through us. And what should move through us? The divine brings that to us and offers it to us. We don't have to try to think about it. We're like hydro lines for God. And a hydro line doesn't create power, but rather it's a means to transfer. And so we're all like transfer stations for the divine to move through us. And that sort of helps us understand what is my relationship to what is created through me. And when we are effectively moving the creations that come to us and choose us, we're fulfilling purpose. And the fulfillment of our purpose is no small thing. In my opinion, it makes new songs echo in the soul of the divine. You just sit in that, like our purpose moves and creates a new song to echo in the soul of God. When we start to look at our lives as a creation and understand that this topic is much bigger and there's so much more to unpack that this conversation could ever hold, we start to realize that we're always creating, And we've never been separate from the mode of creation. It's just learning how to tap into, there's a deeper mode of creation that can kind of move out of us. And then we get there by surrendering, listening, and being brave and willing enough to act upon what we know to be our truth.
If you'd like to hear and experience the full talk about unlocking your creativity, come join me at the Sivananda Ashram Yoga Retreat in the Bahamas this February.